Coming up, is it now possible to use automation technology successfully on a Google Ads account?
You're listening to the Keep Optimizing podcast to increase your traffic, improve your conversion rates, and grow your profits.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chloe Thomas, the host of this Marketing Focus podcast. If you're not familiar with our format by now, here we go. Each month we focus on a different marketing method like email or SEO or Facebook ads. And each week we interview a different marketing method expert to explore the latest advice on making it work for you. This month we're all about Google Ads. Now, from 2007 to 2017, I ran a Google Ads agency. Our biggest cost was people. So I was always super interested in any new automation tool I could implement to enable my team to manage more accounts and thus increase our profitability. But I never found one that actually worked. They were all promise and no substance. However, it now seems that the technological world has finally reached the level where automation is now working on Google Ads. Last week, we touched on some of the automation tools built into Google Ads itself. And in this episode, we are going much, much farther. My guest and his team have built a phenomenal automation tool that will take a lot of the pain out of running ads, save your team a lot of time, and improve your results. Too good to be true? I don't think so. Get ready to find out all about it with today's guest expert. But before we do that, check out the sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by Klaviyo, the email and SMS platform built just for e-commerce brands. If you're marketing an e-commerce brand, you already know that data changes everything. More data means more power. And if your email or SMS tools can't handle all that data, they're probably holding you back. That's where Klaviyo comes in. Its top-notch personalization and segmentation help you send the right message at the right time, guided by unlimited real-time data from your online store and tech stack. Request a demo at klaviyo.com/masterplan. That's KLAVIYO.com/masterplan. Today, I'm chatting with Google Ads expert Zeze Peters. Zeze is a rocket scientist. No, seriously, he is. But he spent most of his career working in digital and in 2017 founded Beam.City to simplify advertising and help businesses stop wasting money on unoptimized adverts and save the time it takes to manage and optimize ad accounts. So if you've ever thought that running a successful Google Ads account was rocket science, yes, I did that. Zeze's here to explain how it can be a lot easier than that. Hello, Zeze.
Hey, it's good to see you, Chloe. How you doing?
I'm good. It's great to have you here to talk about such a powerful opportunity, I think, in this ad space. But before we get into that, how did you get into Google Ads and ads in general?
Yeah, so my story cuts across a few channels, but Google was definitely my first advertising baby. So my background is in aerospace engineering, and I spent a lot of time building all sorts of products. I've actually released about 11,000 SKUs over my career in the space of electronics, software, built e-commerce platforms, big data, and so on. And whenever I had something to release, we always had to run down the advertising rabbit hole to get it right. And so I've tried to release products by myself. My wife and I have a patent on baby carriers. I've released all sorts of physical goods. And whenever you kind of go into Google AdWords, I mean, in the very beginning, it was just like, oh my God, I think I messed it myself up, because I show up and there's the ads manager and there's like all the bells, all the whistles, all the noobs, everything. It's just overwhelming thing. Now, obviously, over time, you figure out how to use it, and then you start to get some success out of the platform. And from there, we decided that, hey, you know what? We can do a little bit more with Google than just kind of doing everything by hand.
Excellent. So plenty of experience has gone into creating the Beam.City.
Blood, sweat, and tears, yes.
Yeah. So I guess all of us who spent lots of time in ad accounts, in Google Ad Manager and all the rest of it, we know there's a lot of complexity in there. There's a lot of workload in there. But what's the key reason you've created the software you've created? What problems set you off on this road?
Well, what really got me was in my experience in the advertising space, That feeling that I talked about upfront is the same feeling every advertiser feels the first time. And for many, even the nth time. Doesn't matter how many times you show up, it can still always be really overwhelming. Most people aren't sure what to focus on, what strategies to use, what process to follow through. And so that really means that most digital advertisers are overwhelmed almost all the time, whether it's an agency or a business owner. So I looked at that problem and I broke it out, engineering background, building rockets. The first thing you do to solve a problem is break it into its pieces. So I broke advertising into about 17 pieces and figured that we could automate or optimize many of these using AIs. So the problem we're effectively solving is using our platform to help advertisers to be a lot less overwhelmed so they can do all their advertising in one space.
I love the fact you've broken it down into those 17 pieces, because I think the fact that your software works, I think, is both because the technology has advanced so much in the last kind of 10, 15 years since I started my quest to find an automator. But I think it's also because you've taken such a granular approach. You've not just gone, oh, let's do bids. You've taken it into areas I just wouldn't have assumed someone want to automate. So like the billing section of your platform is kind of crazy. So could you, just to give everyone, I think that's a good way of explaining to everyone quite the scope of what you've built. So how does the billing bit simplify our lives?
Well, in the world of advertising, most business owners don't know what to do budget-wise for any one channel. Right. So in order to kind of figure out the right budgets and bids and everything else, you usually have to have been in the soup for a little bit to kind of grasp what's there, or spend a lot of time looking at boring spreadsheets. So what our platform does is, whether you're on Google or on Facebook or any other advertising channel, you can do all your advertising billing through our interface, so you don't have to run around managing credit cards everywhere, number one. And then number two, the platform's paying attention and helping you get better budgeting suggestions for every channel, depending on your actual advertising goals. So people who are trying to go out there just to do brand building, there's obviously a different budget mindset for that. Conversions on e-commerce, different mindset. Lead gen, different mindset. Phone calls, yet again, different mindset. So the platform helps people to go through advertising strategies down to the billing for each channel that they would otherwise have a lot of trouble figuring out.
I would say for anyone who, like me, at the end of the month has to go and hunt down all the invoices from Twitter ads, from Facebook ads, and from Google ads, and from LinkedIn ads, and from whatever other platform, in order to keep the accountant happy. It's like music to my ears.
It's overwhelming. Like, many companies will actually pay money just for that piece, but we figure that really what they want is relief from all the stress, and so that's what we're offering: relief using AI.
And the ability to just see all the results in one place and go, oh, Facebook is working better than Google, so let's put some budget over there.
Yeah.
So much opportunity. So I've got in my notes here that I need to ask you the question: does automation actually work? When we're talking about kind of like those big admin time-saving bits, but when it comes to the Google ads and letting the AI make decisions for you, how well is that working for your clients?
So in our platform, we decided that the best way to make AI work or automation work is to give it different specific scopes. Remember, I talked about breaking it into different pieces. So we have an AI piece that's all about monitoring and advertising optimization. And then we have another piece that we're finishing up that's all about strategy automation. And so this way, you can optimize each part of your advertising journey and see outcomes locally. So, many people, when they say, oh my God, my ads aren't working, it's usually because they're spending too much money on the wrong set of targets, whether it's keywords or locations, or they're not remarketing properly, they don't have proper data set up. And so the platform allows you to go through the journey in each step and let the automation or AI in that step help you succeed. So does automation work? Does AI work in this space? Absolutely. We've been able to help clients to get up to 100 times better results in a few days using our platform. I mean, obviously, some people just really sucked at Google AdWords to start. So at that point, taking a client from 0.1 click-through rates or conversion rates to 7-10%, obviously that makes it a winner, right? But the point being that a lot of people just don't know what they're doing in the space. And so we're very happy to be able to give them a platform that helps them to skip a few steps, save a whole pile of time, and see that AI works.
I feel so guilty for laughing when you said they were very bad at it. That's why they got such a big improvement. Because actually, it's such a key part of why automation has always offered such potential. I said earlier that running a Google Ads account is a bit like learning rocket science. There are so many facets to it, so many bits that you need to learn and to become familiar with. And when it's just you running your own ads, it can be you don't get enough, you don't learn fast enough, even if you're good at it, because you've not got the data coming back in as you have if you're at an agency learning multiple things. So actually, if automation enables those who, quite frankly, don't want to learn the nitty-gritty of Google Ads to improve their results that quickly, it's going to be a godsend for the community.
That's absolutely the point. All right? There are almost no advertisers I've met who don't have this issue. If you decide that you want to do 2 channels, you have to figure out all the issues with Google Ads, whether it's on the regular search or display or native or shopping, right? I mean, there's all of these Google contexts. Some people just think it's Google search only. No, there's more to Google than search. And so you have to learn all the nitty gritties. Then there's also the reviews. Their review bots make mistakes all the time. So having a way to automate the review process where possible, or have our team look in it for you, just saves people all that extra headache and stress as well. And that's the point. Advertisers are overwhelmed. The interfaces are so complicated. There's just so much to do in the raw tools themselves. But it doesn't stop there. So the thing is, most advertisers recognize that, hey, you know what? I got to run the ads. But many don't recognize that you have to pay attention to what happens after the ads. It's not enough to get the impressions and send the clicks. You also need your conversions. I meet businesses every day that are like, I'm running an e-commerce store and I don't have analytics. I can't tell what people do on my website. It's horrifying.
It is. And it's not just you who meets them. I was having a conversation only yesterday with someone else who works with a lot of retailers who was going, I can't believe how many I go into and they don't have Google Analytics installed. It's not that they haven't looked at it. They just haven't even installed it.
Yeah. And that's horrifying because it means that they don't have, or a lot of them don't have, the basic recipe it takes to start improving their business. Because without data, I mean, what is the basis of the decisions you make? It's just assumptions, and many of your assumptions are going to be like bad statistics, right? Everybody there's statistics that there's lies, damn lies, in statistics, right? So what you want is for people to stop lying to themselves and use the data, hence the analytics.
Yeah, and I like the fact that your system both helps those who haven't got a clue avoid having to learn it so they can focus on more important things in their business, and helps make those decisions between the platforms as well, which is, it's always so easy in a business to just have Google ads and Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Spotify ads or whatever it might be operating in a silo. And we obviously don't want that. And the fact that then the really clever automations mean, even I assume you also have people who are quite experienced at Google Ads who are adopting your system because it's going to take them to another level by identifying opportunities they haven't been able to spot.
Identify opportunities they've not been able to spot, save them a lot of time, so that, because think about almost any advertiser maybe including yourself when you were running the agency, you always have cool new things you want to try. Mm-hmm. But the sheer volume of work, either running, monitoring, or reporting on your ads, just sucks up your whole day. In fact, it makes it even hard to go do sales work. So by freeing up their time, not only can they discover which other channels can give them value and results, they can also get the time to go do something else that they want to do. Whether it's make a better report, find some new clients, just like their best client, or test out TikTok, right? But let's leave TikTok alone for now. Like Google Native, for example, is something that most advertisers haven't even heard of. And that's a really, really powerful way. You can think about it this way. It's like on Android phones, there's that small window that shows up when you just get on Chrome or any of the browsers. That's literally an advertising sounding board that your ads can show up on. And the engagement on that are insane.
Yeah, that's the bit which I think some people call Google Discovery. And it's a bit like Facebook ads on Google. in some ways.
Yeah, it's almost social. It's great.
Yeah, it amazes me that more people haven't heard of it, because it's kind of like the new entry drug to Google Ads. I'm like, why have Google created this? Oh, because it looks like Facebook ads. Therefore, they're going to be able to grab some more Facebook ad money by bringing new people onto the platform.
I absolutely believe in it, but also it's interest based, right? So a lot of Facebook interest there's millions of them, but on Google, you always show up almost 100% to the people who have the matching interests. So in many ways, I think it's an even better match. Obviously, the format is something that many people say is reminiscent to social, but obviously every single platform, every single format, every single channel has its own details, its own things that matter.
Yeah, there's all these
for the right words. Geez,
all the nuances, I guess. Which, as you said earlier, you have, even in just the Google Ads platform, you've got multiple different kind of areas of marketing. You've got the remarketing, you've got the Google Shopping campaigns, which now seem to come in about 5 or 20 different flavors from what I can work out logging in. They seem to create a new version of that every other week. Then you've got normal keywords, you've got RLSA, you've got Google native / discovery, you've then got the whole traditional display bit. And there's just so many bits.
And YouTube.
Yeah, and I forgot YouTube. And then there's Gmail, which is ending soon, so don't worry about Gmail, everybody.
No, we stayed away from Gmail. I personally am not a fan of email ads, but it works for some clients, and I basically let my bias get into my roadmap,
which nobody should do, but we all do all the time.
Absolutely.
So, are there any businesses for whom this automation idea and letting go of your ads a little bit, are there any businesses for whom this isn't going to be an option in terms of size, in terms of product area?
Well, for our business specifically, what we're focusing on right now are businesses who have a taste of advertising. The reason why is for businesses that don't have enough of a taste of advertising, there's a large learning cycle we usually have to pull them through. And we don't have the resources to do that for every single client. As much as clients can work with us one-on-one using managed support, where we give them data help, content help, strategy help, and then maybe even creative and execution support. We definitely love when our clients are able to come in, get it, use the resources they already have, and win really quickly without us having to kind of walk them through it every single day. So we usually enjoy working with e-commerce, B2B, lead gen businesses. Even physical retail businesses that require phone calls work quite well with us as well. So for the companies that we don't think are the right fit yet, it would be smaller businesses that don't have any advertising experience. But we're working to solve that. We actually have some new products in our pipeline that will come out later in 2022. The strategy automation wizard that will help bridge that gap too. Because like I mentioned before, there's 17 steps. The earliest people in the life cycle just don't even know what to think about. But if we can give them a strategy wizard where they answer 3-4 questions, all 17 steps are mapped out for them and they can just follow through, then they too can win without having to waste all their ad dollars.
And that makes total sense to me, because I think for any automation to work, you need to feed it with some data. And if you haven't done anything, you got no data. And also, I always think people should, there are so many things we could do in e-commerce. We have to focus in on what we should do. And finding an area where you've got a problem or a massive opportunity is a good place to start. So kind of anyone who's not yet spending on advertising, your first step isn't to automate. Your first step is to try something and discover what's painful, and then go to Zeze and fix the pain.
Yeah, you have to have the pain, otherwise you don't know if you need Panadol or you need some other med, right? Do I need rub on my chest? Do I, what do I need? And if you take the wrong meds at the wrong time, it could be fatal. We prefer a little bit where your problem is, and then the platform can help you. And if you need one-on-one, we can help you directly too.
Excellent. Well, look, Zeze, we are going to pause now for a reminder of our sponsors, and then we're going to talk about the wider world of advertising. This podcast is brought to you by Klaviyo, the email and SMS platform built just for e-commerce brands. If you're marketing an e-commerce brand, you already know that data changes everything. More data means more power. And if your email or SMS tools can't handle all that data, they're probably holding you back. That's where Klaviyo comes in. Its top-notch personalization and segmentation help you send the right message at the right time, guided by unlimited real-time data from your online store and tech stack. Request a demo at klaviyo.com/masterplan. That's KLAVIYO.com/masterplan. Okay, Zeze, so far we've gone deep into ad management automation. Now you get to wow us with your insider knowledge about the whole world of advertising. So for the following questions, your answer can be anything to do with ads, which of course does include ad management automation. Zeze, are you ready for these?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with newbie advice. If we've inspired someone to take their first step, what do they need to give themselves the best chance of success?
Don't be in a hurry. A lot of newbies come in and they're like, you know what, if I spend $100 a day, $200 a day, I might, something will work out and then I will follow that thread. That is always a lie. It's never worked that way. It's usually where people run through their entire marketing budget in a few months without any results. So take your time. Always ask for help. So if you're a newbie, first thing you got to do, find someone who's not a newbie and ask for help. This will shave out lots of gray hairs and lots of sleepless nights from you and save you huge amounts of your budget. So find someone who knows what they're doing. Number one, don't be in a hurry because it's not going to be easy. In advertising, everybody knows that creative is one of the strongest pieces of what's going to help you get to your results. And many newbies just don't have good creative yet. So find someone who knows what they're doing in advertising, and you're going to have to iterate on your creative until you have it just right.
I love that because there are no prizes for trying every advertising platform under the sun in the first 3 months of your business.
No. There's only pain, misery, and no money.
Yes, exactly. Which brings us nicely on to the next question, which is now once you've started, of course, you've got to keep optimizing. So what's your favorite way to improve performance?
I mean, that's like a freebie there. I mean, we literally use our platform to run our own ads at Beam.City because our platform is able to automate advertising monitoring, media sizing, quite a few other places. So we spend a lot more time thinking about the message we want to deliver and a lot less time on how to deliver it through advertising. The platform handles those technical details.
Nice. I would have found it very weird if you hadn't suggested your own platform and automation as an optimization strategy there, I have to say. Okay, Zeze, if someone listening wants to learn more about it all, is there one cheap or free resource you would recommend?
Cheap or free? So if you want to learn about Google Ads, there's a lady I really respect who's a great resource with Google Ads, Jill Saskin. She used to work at Google, and she's really great at Google Ads. And so you can follow her on TikTok or on Instagram. She's always given nice tips and tricks that allow businesses to set up their analytics or set up their ads or just think a little different about their copy so that they can just kind of get into the process and roll the ball. We at Beam.City also frequently have webinars where we ask businesses to just come in and talk to us, and we'll literally give you free strategy advice so you can go out and succeed. Of course, for us, it's a way to meet potential clients. But what we found is not everybody needs to be your client, but everybody needs help. So we have that there as a resource to help people out. Of course, if you don't want to wait for a webinar, jump on the chat box on our website, ask a few questions. We're always happy to help.
Excellent. I love those resources. And I've not come across Jill Saskin, so I'm going to be following her straight after this.
All right. I might have ruined her last name. She'll forgive me, but I'll give you the correct spelling to make sure I don't do that.
We will double check that and get that in the show notes for everybody listening so you can find her too, with direct links to her on Instagram and TikTok. Finally, Zeze, it's crystal ball time. What's coming up in the next 6 to 12 months that we should be getting ready for?
In the world of advertising, everybody's already seeing the massive effect that Apple's changes in iOS have had on Facebook. What many don't know is Google has a similar thing kind of bubbling under the radar that might have a double whammy effect on Facebook and the rest of the advertising space. So in the next 6 months, for if anybody in the agency space, there'll be a few changes algorithmically that will be rolled out. That's just a par for the course at this point. But then there'll be issues with other platforms that people advertise on. The aforementioned ones.
Yeah.
But then in terms of our company to help solve those problems, we already unify advertising on our platform. So that means in addition to Google, that is search, display, shopping, and more, on our platform, you can also manage, monitor, and automate your ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Amazon, Pinterest, and more. So you can go into one place and just get the results you're looking for without all the headaches. And we're also going to be finishing up our strategy automation tool. I'm actually looking for people who want to try it out early, like, get an early demo, early interviews, to make sure that we've got it exactly right. Because like I said, right now, we prefer to work with the businesses that already have a taste of advertising and know the pain. But for businesses that don't know the pain, the strategy automation tool will be for you. So any feedback we can get will be great. Zeze at Beam.City, or chat with us on the Beam.City, and we'll roll you right up into those programs.
Nice. And Zeze, I love the fact that what you were saying about the fact that further changes are coming. The cookie apocalypse we've experienced so far because of Apple.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
Oh, no.
It's just beginning, to be honest.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, is going to lead to, a huge opportunity, especially for the smaller businesses when it comes to using a platform like yours, because when you see that change in one platform dropping back, the ROI going, or the visibility going, or the budget not being spent, with a few clicks, you can switch it over to another one without having to log in somewhere and do X and Y. I think it's going to make this moving field that we're in a lot easier to manage if you're able to manage it all from one place.
Absolutely. And the truth is, and there are always going to be new advertising platforms. Just 2 years ago, everybody just knew about TikTok for dancing, and nobody was advertising there. TikTok is one of the bigger social media networks out there right now. Amazon was not even in the space 4 years ago. They're dominating shopping advertising right now. So there's always going to be a new competitor in the space. And you as a business, it's actually your responsibility to figure out which channels work. Don't be in a rush to try them all at once. But once you have something that's working, your ability to scale across the internet is now assured, as long as you recognize that you've got a place, Beam.City DNA, where you can go in, try any platform, get some success, and grow that success at your own pace.
Nice. Zeze, you've given us a lot of food for thought. Before we let you go, though, could you please let the listeners know where they can find you and your business?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, Zeze Peters, that's Zeze Peters. The company Beam.City, we have our website, it's Beam.City. So just go on your browser, type Beam.City, and you get to our website. You can chat with us on our chat box right there on the site, and someone will respond to you. We're very active on Twitter and Instagram. In fact, we're going to break 1,000 followers on our Instagram pretty soon, so we're excited about that. And so engage with us on Instagram, and engage with us on Twitter. Chat with us on our website. We're ready to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Zeze, for being on the Keep Optimizing podcast today and for giving us such clarity on how the fact automation is now something that we should be considering for our ads. So thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate being here. Thanks, Chloe, for the invite. I look forward to helping everybody out.
So I got to see Zeze speak at a virtual summit a few weeks back and was just really blown away by the clarity of how their program is put together and the results they're driving for people, both in terms of the time-saving aspect and then the improvement in results. It's really, really powerful. And I think in 5 years' time, we're going to look back and everyone's going to be using Beam.City or a similar tool to manage their ads, especially as that focus is shifting now from the nitty-gritty targeting piece into the creative, because you need more time to spend on your creative now. How do we do that? Well, we enable artificial intelligence to deal with the analysis for us and that just some of that decision-making process. Well, I thought that was really interesting. If you were intrigued by the Google Discovery, Google Native piece we talked about, we had an interview all about that she says, clicking her way with her incredibly noisy new mouse over to find out what number episode it was. We had Becky Hopkin, who's coming up later this month to talk about something else. She did a whole session about that here last year, which is episode 46. If you want to scroll back and find out more about Google Discovery and Google Native, it's amazing how few people are using that, and it is hugely powerful. So well worth taking a look at. But back to today's episode, you can get the links to all the things we discussed, the full transcript, the important notes, and more at keepoptimising.com, where we will also have the links to that Google Ads expert that Zeze mentioned. And anyone who wants her details now, she is Jill Saskin Gales, which is spelt JYLLSASKINGALES. Google her and you'll find her. So that's Jill Saskin Gales, JYLLSASKINGALES. And as I said, we will put all of that in the show notes for you, so you can go and click straight through to her accounts. Whilst you're on the website, keepoptimising.com, you can also sign up to our monthly Q&A webinar, where me and as many of the guests from this month on Google Ads get together to have a laugh and answer your questions and the big questions in the world of Google Ads at the moment. It's your chance to get your questions answered, so please do come and join us. To sign up for that, head to keepoptimising.com and you'll find out all the details. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode of the Keep Optimising podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, do check out episode 88, where Laura took us through building the ultimate conversions funnel on Google Ads, all those different elements and how you can bring them together to build a more powerful customer conversion funnel. And also tell your fellow marketers about the show, because I want to help as many marketers as possible to improve the performance of their e-commerce marketing. Have a great week and make sure you listen to the next episode so I can help you to keep optimizing your marketing.
Access everything Keep Optimizing at keepoptimising.com. That's with an S, not a Z.